Welcome everyone. My name's Jess and this is my channel Jess's Modern Life. So for this week I've got another What's for Dinner. So we've got 4 new recipes, all healthy, budget friendly, and food your family will actually eat. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to make is a spinach and ricotta lasagna. So we've got a packet of lasagna sheets, 1 egg, going to need 1 whole onion. So I believe I'm not sure if it mentions any herbs. I think it says oregano. I did Italian herbs. I did half the amount of spinach, so 250 grams frozen. We need some garlic, 2 garlic cloves. Need some parmesan, half a cup. Now I've done passata instead of tin tomato, so 28 ounces, which is about 800 grams. I just believe it definitely gives better flavor. We've got some cheddar cheese, and you also need 1.5 cups of ricotta. So all the measurements will be linked in the description box below for all the recipes. So yeah, so preheating to 390 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius. So also need a little bit of olive oil, so just chuck that in the pan while I burn the house down. That's a lot of smoke, obviously. Let that go a little too long. So just whacking the onions in, some in the pan, some everywhere else. I really make a mess with this dish, you guys will see. And just cooking away. So we really want to get the onions kind of, that translucent sort of color. We'll also add in the garlic shortly as well, just so they can both kind of meld the flavors together. So that's exactly the way we want them. So then we add in the passata. So yeah, I think that was a 700 ml container. Definitely recommend a bit more. I would have preferred it with a bit more sauce. So you can add in 800 ml, even 900 ml, that'd be perfect. But I definitely recommend the passata as it has a lot more flavor, which I think the dish really needs. So also adding in Italian herbs. Forgot to show it, but anytime I make any sort of pasta sauce, we do need sugar, salt, and pepper. So I always miss ingredients at the start, guys, but definitely worth adding those things in. It makes a huge difference to the flavor of the dish, especially because it's such a simple dish as well. One of the things I actually love about this particular lasagna is it doesn't have a white sauce, so it's lower calorie, healthier, and easier as well, which I'm always a fan of. So with the spinach, frozen spinach works great. I just chucked it into the microwave just to defrost it a bit. And I do also wring out some of the spinach, just because I don't want too much liquid in it. So you can see I'm measuring out all of my ricotta now. Hot tip, you just need the whole container. So if you've got a container that size, saves you messing up another cup, another dish. We've all got enough washing up, right? Some people love it. It's always my most dreaded chore. Thank God for dishwashers. So just chucking in the egg, the parmesan. So this is kind of like a white sauce substitute that we'll be doing for layering. Now I have added a little nutmeg as well, which the recipe does recommend. It doesn't say how much. If you're not too confident with using it, you can definitely skip it out. No big deal. But I definitely think it adds a nice flavor to any sort of white creamy sauce and lasagnas. Oh, so I'm showing you guys the aftermath of me cooking. I don't know how I make such a mess. Definitely had my pot too high, but yeah. It was worth it. It was delicious, but might make a mess, guys. So we're just adding the spinach in with the creamy sauce, and then we're going to start layering. nice, just popping the lasagna in the oven. So for 20 minutes covered and 20 minutes uncovered, and that's the final product. It was amazing. Highly recommend it. So the next recipe is kind of one of my winging it with Jess recipes, which you guys have seen quite a bit. So quesadillas are perfect for using up what you've got. So I had some salsa, some sour cream in the fridge, black beans, an old looking sweet potato, got about 500 grams of chicken, and some jumbo tortillas. So yeah, just chopping up that sweet potato. So I do chop it up quite fine. You can see it's, yeah, bit old, but that's okay. We use it all up. It worked out perfectly for this. So yeah, here's another montage of me cutting things. Enjoy. So with my sweet potatoes, I love this particular seasoning mix, I guess. So these are about to go in the air fry. So I haven't done a ton of oil, just a little bit of olive oil, some salt and paprika. So I find this is really, really good for potatoes, sweet potatoes. I like to do them quite plain. So obviously there's a lot of sweet potato here. So if we don't use it all in the quesadilla, we can definitely use it for other meals and it not be too Mexican. Yeah, so chuck those in the air fryer for whatever the air fryer told me for potatoes. Everyone's is different. Or, of course, you could roast them in the oven. So for the chicken, I've actually boiled these up. Again, I think it took about 20 minutes. Depends on the size of your chicken breast. And I just did mainly chicken stock. They had some left over and some water. Now, you can actually shred up your chicken with your stand mixer as well, just with the beater function. But I didn't want to wash anything else up, so 2 forks worked fine for me. So now we're ready to assemble. So we've got the salsa. I like a lot of sauce, so I put quite a lot down there. So black beans, so I've just drained them. They're already pre-cooked, so super easy. My chicken and then my sweet potato. So I do really like this recipe because obviously we're getting some veg in, we're getting some fiber and protein with the beans, and of course some good protein with the chicken. So yeah, overall super healthy meal, fairly low calorie as well. Of course, if you're on a diet, you could get rid of some of those carbs, but carbs are life. So this girl ain't on a diet. I'm growing a baby. So I didn't have cheese because I used it all probably on that delicious lasagna we just saw. So I kind of did sour cream instead. Worked really well. Um, yeah, again, it's just about using up what we've got. So this is mine. So of course, Mama's going to add some jalapenos because I love everything spicy and sriracha. So if you notice a theme with my recipes, I'm pretty much going to add jalapenos and sriracha and everything. Now, I'm a serial overstuffer, so be careful if you're gonna, brown up your tortillas and heat everything up on, yeah, be careful about the flipping process. And that's it, my delicious quesadillas. Highly recommend it, guys, especially with that squeeze of lime. So the next recipe I'm making is coconut lime chicken. So we've got some coconut milk, garlic, crushed ginger. So I just use the canned stuff, it's fine. 2 limes, some chicken stock, about 500 grams chicken breast, and an onion. So first of all, I like to Slice the chicken fairly thinly and just get a really good crust going on it, which I've done in a hot pan. So I probably added, I don't know, like a tablespoon of oil or something like that. Um, yeah, whatever you want to do. You could probably add no oil at all. Totally up to you. But one of the things I love about this recipe is it is, gluten-free, keto-friendly. Name a buzzword, it's it. So definitely a healthy meal, to start off the week nicely. So I've just kept all those like good chicken juices in there, added my garlic, added my ginger and onion, and just gonna get those all toasty and delicious. Now just adding in my coconut milk, and I'll add in my lime juice shortly. Now I did 2 fresh limes and they were like radioactive. I don't know. They were way too strong. So maybe add 1 lime and see how you go. And of course, added that chicken stock as well. And yes, I'm rocking my pajama pants. I am 30 weeks pregnant and I'm just wearing whatever is comfortable, mainly pajamas. It's amazing. So I just kind of let that cook down for a little while. Now, I always like to add a bit of veg to meals, so I found green beans worked really well for this. So I kind of just cook the green beans for a couple of minutes. I still like them with a little bit of crunch. And then add the chicken back in, and that's the finished product with rice. So good, really good for leftovers, freeze as well. Highly recommend trying it, guys. Now, the last recipe is another winging it with Jess. Again, just using up what I've got. So this marinade I kind of just came up with. I was just feeling this Cajun seasoning I got for a recipe last week, and I really wanted to use it in something. So, yeah, I decided to do a bit of a marinade. So we've got just some oil, just adding a bunch of that Cajun seasoning in there. Now, whenever I kind of make sauces or kind of wing it with any sort of dishes, I really like to balance some spice, sweetness, salt, and acidity. So you see that's kind of what I've gone for here. So added some honey, more oil. Why not? It's a marinade. You've got to have a decent amount in there. Of course, salt, as I mentioned, and lime. And then I basically just have like a play around, keep tasting it until I get it to the taste I want. Now, I know you can see like a little bandage there. I'm fine, guys. I just had my iron infusion that day. So, um, yeah, it looks really dramatic, but no big deal. It's about 2 weeks later and I'm feeling really good. So I'm so, so glad I got it done. Apparently, baby was stealing all my iron. So, yeah, that pregnancy life. So, yeah, I just used the bottle lime because I'd ran out of all the fresh stuff. Still works perfectly well. So, yeah, just whatever you got, guys. You could definitely add some garlic in there as well if you wanted. I just wasn't really feeling it that night, but yeah, beautiful marinade on chicken. Would work really well with fish as well, I reckon. Probably beef. Anything. Throw it on anything. See what happens. And tell me how it goes. So chicken, I'm just cutting into chunks. Yeah, I think I did like 500 grams chicken. I always tend to do chicken breast. I guess it's just a habit. Um, from like my competing days and dieting days. Um, but of course, chicken thigh makes the best burgers ever. So whatever you've got. Now, I let that marinate for about 2 hours. Of course, overnight's always better, but who's that organized? Not me. So a couple of hours is fine. Just grilling that on a really hot sort of griddle pan to get a really nice sear mark on it. And then we're ready to assemble. So I love these. Oh, what are these bread rolls called? Sourdough or something? So good. And of course, avocado, because avocado makes everything better. You can see I'm just like layering that up, all the avocado. Now, you can see, oh yeah, a little bit of lettuce as always. I prefer iceberg. I don't know what this one is, but worked fine. You can see in the corner I've got these like amazing sauces from Guzman White Gomez. So it's like a Mexican chain in Australia that's really delicious. Yeah, I got them to go with chips, but there's always some left over, so of course I'm adding that on. But some peri would be really, really good, or a chipotle mayo or anything like that. So awkward, undercook the chicken. Don't want to, poison my family. So just chucking that back on the grill. This is why we check these things. She'll be right. Yeah, so just gonna put a bunch of that sauce on. Anyone who knows me, has watched my videos, knows I love sauce. So the more sauce, the better. Not a big fan of mayo on burgers though. Unless it's got chipotle in it, like this one. I like to keep my salad pretty minimal as well. So you can see I've just got some cherry tomatoes and lettuce. And I think that's all you really need on a burger. A little bit of red onion would have been good as well. Cheese, of course, because it's not a burger without cheese. And then we've just got to add the chicken to finish it all off. So you can see I've served mine with sweet potato fries, which I've just cooked in the air fryer just to get a little bit of extra veg in and just to bulk out the meal a little bit. And that's it. The burgers were delicious. So that's all our recipes. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.